Good evening, everyone. Well, it's this time of the evening again. I figured I'd showcase this one here. This is one that a lot of people have. I've got a lot of comments on this because it's so different. This is what's called a Invicta Specialty, and it's only 45 millimeter case. It's thin. Look how thin it is. It's not like the really husky, thick Invictas. This is very thin. It's model 6318, and I bought this a long time ago. And these models, usually they have them along the side here, but on the older versions, you see it's right in the middle here, and it has the standard bracelet. Non-movable bezel. Date, time. I need to change the battery on this one. This takes a little bit of a smaller battery too because it's so thin. This one's only 50 meters resistant. Not like a lot of the others are 100 meter resistant, which is 300 feet of water. This is half of that. So, but it's an IMQ 96. It is Japanese movement. It's a great watch. I mean, it's really. I went to have a battery put in it a few years ago when I was in Seattle, and a jeweler there in the mall. He looked at it, he says, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen an Invicta that thin." And I looked at him and I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, I'm a watch collector too. I'm a jeweler, but I'm also a watch collector." And he says, "I'm familiar with a lot of Invictas, but I've never seen one that thin." And I was like, "Yeah, it's unique. It's very unique. It really is." So, yeah, but it fits really good. It looks really good. We got this when it was on the shopping channel years ago. It was during Christmas time, actually, I believe. And yeah, it was fun then, you know. You'd watch. It was Shop HSN Shopping, I believe. It was one of the channels that had Invicta almost like at least twice a week. So yeah, those are fun days, you know, looking and watching it and watching the hosts on there and seeing this, and you know, it's just. But yep, this is the Invicta Specialty. It's a very Christmassy red. So I noticed on my feeds, there's a lot of people. I mentioned about the economy, how tough the economy is right now on people, and I'm seeing so many people trying to start up YouTube channels, and they're moving to Southeast Asia. They're packing everything up and they're leaving, and I get it. I do. You know, people's given up on the economy and they've given up on life, and they're just saying to hell with it. But when I see boy, bicycles are loud. Sorry, that's the way it is here in third world countries. So, anyways, yeah. So you know, I could understand the older guys that have, you know, permanent pensions and Social Security, and they just want to come out here and maybe live out their lives. You know, they have steady stream incomes. But when you're a young person, I'm seeing more and more people that are in their late 20s, 30s, early 40s. They're in their working prime. You know, I know the economy sucks, and I know there's not a lot of jobs right now, but you know, you really got to keep up on it. You know, you can't just give up and throw in the towel. And for some reason, a lot of people are. But it disturbs me a little bit that there's a lot of people that are bringing their families into the mix. You know, I seen one with this guy. His the wife's Filipina, and they have a small child, and they're going to bring the child over. And it's like, you know, I understand for the wife's part. She probably misses home and just wants to go back home. I understand that, you know. But you have a child, and you're taking a child from a first world country, and you're bringing them here. And you don't know how they're going to be ostracized. You don't know how they're going to be treated when they get here in the schools. There's there's a couple international schools that are quite pricey, and this guy didn't seem like he had a lot of money. He was talking about just basically buy me coffee, buy me this, sticker this, sticker. He was trying to build a YouTube channel, and he said he quit his job, which probably wasn't a very good job to begin with. But still, you gotta. I don't know, I think it's too young to throw in the towel like that, So it sounds like he's just going on a whim, and he's going with the savings, and I can see what it is. He has high aspirations to be a YouTuber, to make YouTube, to live off that. But I just think that's a disaster waiting to happen like that, because, it's one thing when you do it yourself, but when you start bringing your kids in there with you, it's kind of an injustice, I think, to the child. I don't know. I just don't agree with that. But I'm seeing more and more of it. And I think I mentioned it before that something's got to be done with the country and jobs and the economy. And, this AI nonsense, it's good to a certain point, but you can't just knock everybody out of their jobs. People have to have a way to live, Not everyone can just say, oh, I'm just going to leave the country and live in a third world country somewhere, and... I just don't think that's the answer, Retirement's one thing, but to give up the best prime working years of your life, if you waste that and then all of a sudden you're in your 50s and then you're going to go back and you're going to try to reintegrate into the world, it's going to be pretty tough to do, Nobody really wants to hire an older person, So anyways, that's my thoughts on that. I seen it in my feed, and I was like, geez, dude, don't do that. But that's what it is. So, anywho, I'm going to stop here, and I hope you appreciate this, seeing this watch as much as I do. I really like this one. I try to take care of it. It's in pretty good shape. I wore it to work a few times, but... I don't want to get it scratched or anything, Even though they're durable watches. Alrighty, till next. Cheers.